Right. Now, this is turning out to be a phenomenal week for Republicans, for conservatives, for MAGA, for America. Even those libtards that don't have any idea or are clueless to the destruction that had been handed down by these left-wing extremist Democrats, many who they propelled into positions of power, who did nothing but squander it, and to our benefit, screwed it up so bad that they helped our president get back into the White House and to right this ship going towards the golden age. Now, as you see the title of this video, it says DA Fani Willis's travel records subpoenaed by the federal grand jury. This is the report. Now, you might say, well, Brian, that's not that big of a deal, but it's a huge deal. Because if you don't remember, DA Fani Willis out of Fulton, Georgia, did a full court press, not only on President Trump, it was President Trump and 19 other people, many who took pleas, some who actually did get get put in jail. Now, when it came up to President Trump, the ball fell out. And here's why. And in this video, I'm going to show you the why. I'm going to show you exactly what Fani Willis said that has led her to this right now. Because the reason why there's a subpoena in those records is because Fani Willis's lover, who remember she said she broke up with, and I'm going to show you about that. Her lover, Nathan Wade, he testified under oath that he met with the White House. Now, if you don't remember, Nathan Wade was brought in to work a RICO trial with no RICO trial experience, had never done it before, was paid $1 million, and it just so happened to have been dating the DA. So what would an assistant prosecutor on a case out of Fulton, Georgia, have to do with the White House? Now, the crazy thing is he met with the White House prior to President Trump even being indicted. Now, wait till you see the clips in this video. It's going to blow your mind. And the reason why this is important, because we see James Comey got indicted. Letitia James is coming any day. And I'm telling you now, if I was a betting man, Fani Willis is going down. And it's for what I'm going to show you in this video. That's why they want to subpoena the travel records. They already know, but she lied. Check this out. Now, because I'm going to give it to you. I'm going to give you all of the clips. Now, in this first clip here, what I'm going to show you, this is just the breaking news report about what's going on with DA Fani Willis. Check this clip out.
With breaking news out of the nation's capital, the New York Times reporting tonight that the Justice Department has subpoenaed travel records from Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis. Those records reportedly from around the time of last year's election when Willis traveled overseas. The Times says it's part of a federal grand jury subpoena, and grand jury proceedings are secretive by law. DA Willis charged President Donald Trump in an election interference case, which accused him and his allies of trying to steal votes in an attempt to win the election. A state appeals court said she was disqualified from overseeing the case due to a personal relationship with the attorney she hired to run it. Last week, the Georgia State Supreme Court upheld the decision. Now, we have reached out to the Justice Department, the U.S. Attorney's Office, the Fulton County District Attorney's Office, and Willis's attorney. So far, there has been no response. With breaking news.
So you hear they're bringing it up, and this is a big deal. This is bigger than just her travel records. And here's the reason why. I'm going to let you listen to exactly what she said, and then I'm going to follow it up with proof of her lie and exactly why DA Fani Willis may end up in prison. Now, in this first clip, I'm just going, kind of give you a reminder of who she is and listen to what she's pushing back against.
So your office objected to us getting Delta records for flights that you may have taken with Mr. Wade.
And, well, no. I object to you getting records. You've been intrusive into people's personal lives. You're confused. You think I'm on trial. These people are on trial for trying to steal an election in 2020. I'm not on trial, no matter how hard you try to put me on trial.
So my question
is she a psychopath?
I object to getting any personal records.
Keep going, Fani.
We're not dealing with privilege through a witness.
Keep going, Fani.
And I'm not, no, I'm not dealing with privilege.
So you see the attitude, you see the audacity, and you see her saying you're not getting any records of mine at all. Now, I'm going to show you the clip of exactly what really may be going on in Fulton County. Now, in this clip, and then I'm going to lead into the one that really sunk her in the hole. You heard her just say that, hey, this is about these people who tried to steal an election. Now, I want you to check this clip out because remember, in Fulton County, Georgia, there was huge issues with the ballots, and they did a lot of investigation. And would it shock you if I told you that ultimately they did find out that there was fraud that took place during the 2020 election in Fulton County, Georgia? It was fraud. They found it. It was testified to. Now, the reason why it hadn't been made mainstream and the reason why it hadn't been pushed out there or no charges had came down first is because out there in Fulton County, Georgia, and in Georgia, it is dirty and it is wicked. And they all were playing ball together, but it's all coming out. Check this clip out here about voting in Fulton County. Then I'm going to get into the clip of Fani Willis under oath, what she said, then the proof of the lie and why she's going to.
And if you don't, and if you think that maybe that's, if you think that maybe that's just a, a mistake.
These are some of the people that were investigating the ballots. Check out what they found.
Or just a coincidence. Here's the next one that shows, you can see Republican is written there, Republicans written there. This is ballot 61. This is ballot number 2. And then each one of them even has this little dot in the Fani Willis.
Okay, and do you have more of those?
We have the entire batch. There's 62 images in here total, and I didn't even get a chance to go through all of them. But these are the most obvious ones where it's clear that it's the same. This one's got the little tail on the side.
And so what happened? So do you know the numbers of these total batches? Like,
I don't remember what the totals were when the batches. I don't think they weren't disparate. They were fairly close. But the simple fact that they
so
occurred.
if you see that little bubble right there, this is one image. Here's another image.
Exactly
the exact same. And the batch number, was it 5162?
Also scanner 5162.
Okay, scanner.
Batch number 235, image number 92, matches the same scanner 5162, batch 234, image 33.
So there you have it. Duplicate ballots. The entire batch is scanned several times.
If you're enjoying this video, do me a solid, hit that thumbs up. I'll never ask you for a cash app or a super chat, but you hitting that like button, it really helps get the information out there. And if you aren't subscribed to the channel, subscribe. And whether you're subscribed already or subscribing now, make sure that you hit the notification bell and select all. YouTube is having issues with getting notifications out, but when you select all, YouTube will make sure you get notified when I upload new videos. So you have right here in front of you actual ballots that were submitted in Georgia, where you can clearly see even the imperfections are exactly the same. The written in name, exactly the same. And you heard him say that entire batch was like that. And that batch had been scanned multiple times. Now, let's check this clip out here with my man, Mr. Sadow. If you didn't watch that trial, this man is a beast. And he's one of Trump's lawyers. Check this out. And this is the first part of what's leading Fani Willis closer to that prison gate. Check it out.
I understand your testimony is you never took a trip to D.C. with Mr. Wade.
That's correct.
Personal or business?
That's correct.
Were you ever in D.C. at the same time as Mr. Wade?
I was not.
Personal or business?
No, me and Mr. Wade have not been to DC at the same time. However, since Mr. Wade has been on this case, he's been to DC. Since Mr. Wade has been on to this case, I've been to DC. What has not happened is we have not been in the District of Columbia at the same time.
My next question is based on her opening the door, and therefore I'll just ask it and Your Honor can decide whether or not it's appropriate. When you went to D.C., did you go to the White House?
I did not go to the White House.
No. Well, apparently I'm going to get the answer anyhow. There you have it. Next question. Okay. When you went to D.C., did you go to the White House?
I did not go to the White House.
No. Well, apparently I'm going to get the answer anyhow. There you have it. Next question. Okay.
Now, at the end of, you just saw in that clip, at the end of that clip, you saw Fani Willis at the White House. That was the White House document. Matter of fact, let me go back to it. As you can see, this is the White House. This is the Visitee Last V. POTUS. It's the vice president on 2/28/23. Before. She was there on 2/24/23. Appointment was made on 2/24/23, and just 4 days later, she was there at the White House, as is whitehouse.gov. All right. Now, the attorney on this case was Ashley Merchant, and this woman was phenomenal. But not only did she prosecute the case, she also was somebody who had investigators digging. And I want you to listen to her testimony to the Georgia Supreme Court on this Fani Willis situation. You just heard Fani Willis's answer about her being at the White House, her going to D.C. Never been with Nathan Wade, not been to the White House. Yeah, we just saw the docket from the White House showing she was there. But this goes even deeper. Check this out.
There's one of the other things I did was I did a open records for the White House access, and we had records that Ms. Willis and the mayor of Atlanta were at meeting with the vice president.
Okay, and so this is the access history. How does that work? The White House keeps records of anybody that comes in and has any kind of official meeting for sure?
Yes, and my understanding is it's highly regulated who can access the White House, and so you have to apply in person or apply ahead of time, and then they give you a time when you make the appointment, and they give you a time when you're allowed to be in and when you have to be out by, and they track you. And I mean that makes sense. They don't want anybody lingering in the White House, but they keep that, and so they're called wave records, I believe is what they're called. And I'm not sure what that's an acronym for, but they're publicly available. They're open records.
I want to give a big shout out to the sponsor of this video, Chapter. And here's why. When my mom hit 65 years old, I watched her get bombarded with mailers, cold calls, and all these confusing ads about Medicare. And every single company pretended like they wanted to help her, but really they were just trying to sell her stuff. It seemed like the game was rigged and she was not supposed to win at all. And that's why I'm so excited to share information about Chapter with all of you. Now, who Chapter is? Chapter is a free Medicare advisory service that compares Medicare plans available, and they give you real, unbiased guidance. Chapter is completely independent and always puts customers first. Their whole focus is all about making sure that their customers, the seniors, get the right Medicare plan. And it's clear that they're making a real difference in the lives of seniors. So if you want real, unbiased help with Medicare, give Chapter a call at 402-527-1253. You'll talk to a real person who will help you figure out exactly which plan is right for you. Now, Chapter is totally free and has saved the average senior $1,000 a year. So I'm going to put the number here on the screen for you to be able to contact, or if you visit the website, go to askchapter.org/realpolitics.
And this record that's shown on the screen shows Fani Willis was a visitor with V. POTUS. I presume that's Vice President of the United States.
Yes, it was.
And what was the date of that back in, was that February sometime of 23?
February 28, 2023.
Is that before the indictment?
Yes.
Okay. Any further explanation of why Ms. Willis was meeting with the Vice President of the United States?
No. I know Dexter Bonds, and I believe that's the same one that I think it's Dickinson or Dixon, the mayor of Atlanta was also there.
Okay.
Now, why would Fani Willis and Nathan Wade both be meeting at the White House with the vice president, who is also, the president, his administration, whose opponent is Donald Trump? She's meeting with the White House prior to Trump's indictment even coming down. So since when does the vice president and the DA of Fulton County have a reason for her to be there meeting with the mayor of Atlanta, who just took the ride because she wanted to meet Kamala Harris? Starstruck. Now, check out this testimony here from Miss Fani Willis. Now, you heard her say she hadn't been to the White House. She also at one point was acting like, she didn't have a real relationship with Nathan Wade until she was under oath, and she had to admit that she had been dating. She had been known Nathan Wade, but they didn't start dating until after the trial. Guess what happened? She was proved to have been lying. There was friends, there was people who had rented her a place to live. She was renting one woman's house. Nathan Wade was there with her. Not to mention one of Nathan Wade's own best friends got asked under oath. He admitted they had been in a relationship. So this woman is known for lying. But this really shows your audacity and just how ignorant, and ignorance just lacking knowledge, how ignorant this woman is. Now listen to what she's about to say, and then I'm going to show you in real time just how much she's a liar and why this woman may end up in prison.
You left it in August of 2023. That sound right?
That's the hard conversation. That's not the.
We've covered this. Next question.
And you characterize it as a tough conversation, correct?
Yes.
I'm not going to get into the conversation per
We
se.
should.
Well, if he doesn't want to, we won't go there. So, Mr. Sadar, next question.
It's kind of hard to say no when you've got that opportunity. But all I'm going to say is, was it pre-indictment in this case?
So,
We know the timeline that the indictment was delivered.
okay,
Well,
but,
actually,
and so that
I'll
we're
give you
clear,
that.
the physical relationship ended pre-indictment.
And is that when you were talking about the tough conversation?
But I'm not sure that the tough conversation didn't happen until after, but the physical relationship. So I'm sure if you ask Mr. Wade, because he's a male, he would say we ended June or July because physical contact ended then. Just in my mind, being a woman, it's over when you have that hard conversation. I just think women and men think differently.
This woman, these Democrats, especially the black women Democrats. Boy, they throw that woman card out there and that black woman card out there every time they get caught in some BS. I'm going to do a video on her, but the mayor of New Orleans is using that black woman or that racist card. So there she is. Oh, you know, men think different. Was the relationship over? Well, then physical, he probably say this, but I say this. Was it over? That's double talk. That only works if she's talking to some dumb, ignorant person, which is what she deals with a lot there as far as in her prosecuting cases. She's typically going after like gangbangers and you know, radicalized criminals and whatnot, but dealing with people that have intellect that can match her, she can't stand up. Now, you just heard that testimony about when it ended and the real conversation and the physical stop pre-indictment and yada, yada. Let me show you something. Now, real quick, the date, and I know it may be hard for you to see, but the date of this police cam is 2024. Looks like 8/24/2024. So August of 2024, which is well after the indictment, which is well after this trial has taken place. And you heard her say her relationship with Nathan Wade was over. Check this out. Traffic stop. Fani Willis's daughter got pulled over by the police. So she's coming to the rescue. But check this out.
Couple hours, probably. Mom, Dad, who's looking? Okay.
Nice to meet you.
So,
Nice to meet you. What?
So apparently,
I don't know if you can see, but you know, oh, there you go. That might have been a better look at it. Can you see who that face is right there? That is Nathan Hot Dog Wade, like my man Greg Foreman on Black Conservative Perspective called. That's Nathan Wade with Fani Willis at her daughter's traffic stop to deal with the police. You heard the cop say, is this mom and dad? They got on regular clothes. They not coming from work. They're coming from chilling. Maybe they was doing some work. Maybe it's some other kind of work. I don't know. Because, you know, that's what got her in this situation in the first place. She couldn't keep her legs closed, and he couldn't have self-control as a married man who may have been separated from his wife. But y'all are prosecuting one of the biggest cases, if not the biggest case in your career. And luckily for us, they didn't have self-control. And they did get started and mix that, you know, friends with benefits and then just made it a real relationship. But she testified under oath that her relationship with Nathan Wade was over. Now, women, all my ladies that are watching this video, I want you to listen to this clip and tell me if you agree with what Fani Willis is about to say. And then after that, I got to show you what President Trump posted today on Truth Social about Fani Willis. It's hilarious. But listen to this. And ladies, tell me if you agree. And fellas, tell me, have you ever seen anybody with bigger cojones than this woman to say this?
I don't feel like my reputation needs to be reclaimed. Let's say it for the record. I'm not embarrassed by anything I've done. You know, I guess my greatest crime is I had a relationship with a man, but that's not something that I find embarrassing in any way. And I know that I have not done anything that's illegal. And so I don't feel like my reputation needs to be reclaimed. And when I tell you the outpouring of women, and I'll tell you this, especially African-American women who will just say, we are so proud, you are such a good representative of us. But I would be lying to say it's only African-American women. I have had Caucasian women, Asian women, Indian women. I told Jeff one day, I didn't think I was the face of the feminist movement, but somehow I became it. And I think that women feel like women are treated differently when they're professionals.
Now, you just heard this woman say that she didn't expect to become the face of the women's movement, but that's what she is. There are no women congratulating her for sleeping with the man at your job that cost you the biggest opportunity of your career, embarrassed you on the global stage, ruined his business, and has done everything except destroy her career. But that's coming. And that's only because, you know, there was an election that came up right after this, and the people of Fulton County reelected this woman. But let me tell you why and how. I've spoke about this in other videos. They don't advertise local elections. You know why? Because they know most people are busy. Most people only focus on the every 4 years, not the every 2 years. So, and ask yourself, how many local elections have you had in your city where you didn't go vote for the mayor or the city council, the sheriff or the judge? You may not have even known that the election was taking place. But when the presidential comes up, you're right there. That's what most people do. They get that sticker, but they fail to pay attention to the local election. And the Democrats know that. And they play on that. So when we say, damn, how do they keep getting reelected? Because they organize and they get people to the polls for those midterms, because that's what affects our local community more, way more than who's the president. And we need to get more people knowing that. All I'm asking is, if you're watching this video, please make sure that in 2026, you find out when your midterms are coming and you participate, because we got to get these people out of office. We got to. So let's check out this clip of what President Trump had to put on this, and it had me cracking up. Then I'll get back to the article. Real Donald Trump.
Did you go to a cabin with Miss Willis ever?
Ever?
Ever.
I've been really trying to hold back this feeling for so long. And if you feel like I feel, baby.
No.
You've never gone to a cabin with us?
No.
It took him all of that time to answer the question of, did he go to a cabin with Fani Willis? But why President Trump post that with the Marvin Gaye in the background while he's sitting there thinking? And that wasn't slowed down. That's really what he did during the trial. But let's get into this. DA Fani Willis's travel records subpoenaed by federal grand jury. Federal investigators have reportedly issued a grand jury subpoena for the travel records of Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis, the Atlanta prosecutor who led the Georgia election interference case against President Trump. The subpoena seeks details related to Willis's travel in the fall of 2024, around the time of the presidential election. The New York Times reported on Friday. The investigation is being run out of the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Northern District of Georgia, led by Theodore Hertzberg. The scope of the investigation and whether Willis is a target is unclear. Trump and 18 others were indicted in 2023 in connection with an alleged scheme to overturn the president's narrow 2020 election loss in Georgia to Joe Biden. Willis, 53, was booted from the sprawling racketeering and influence case last December by the Georgia Court of Appeals, which cited the appearance of impropriety over her affair with Nathan Wade, the special prosecutor she tapped to lead the case. Last week, the Georgia Supreme Court denied Willis's bid to get back on the case. The romance between Wade and Willis surfaced in January of 2024 when Trump co-defendant Michael Roman asked to have the criminal charges against him dismissed on the grounds of an improper and clandestine relationship between the special prosecutor and the DA. Wade filed for divorce from his ex-wife on November the 1st, 2021, one day after he was hired by Willis. Bank records and court filings related to Wade's divorce case show he paid for lavish vacations with Willis in 2022 and 2023, including Norwegian and Royal Caribbean cruises and trips to Napa Valley, Miami, and Aruba. The special prosecutor was paid roughly $654,000 in legal fees from the Fulton County DA's office for his work those years on the Trump case, records show. And remember, this man had never, ever tried a RICO case, had no experience. They had other prosecutors who were far more skilled and experienced to work RICOs, but she didn't want them. She wanted Nathan Hot Dog Wade. The report of the subpoena for Willis's travel records comes one day after former FBI Director James Comey was indicted by a federal grand jury on charges of making false statements and obstruction related to testimony that he provided Congress in 2020. We have no knowledge of any investigation, Jeff DeSantis, a spokesman for Willis, told the New York Times. The Justice Department, U.S. Attorney's Office for the North District of Georgia, and Fulton County District Attorney's Office did not respond to the Post request for comment. So there we have it. As you saw, this woman has lied under oath multiple times. And she stonewalled Congress who have been attempting to get the records. You even heard her say she objected to Ashley Merchant them getting the records, but now the subpoena power of Congress is there. And we already know she was at the White House. And let me tell you what they're going to tie together. Fani Willis met allegedly with Kamala Harris to put together the plan to take down President Trump. And let me get you one more tidbit. Did you know that the January 6th Select Committee, did you know they destroyed all of the evidence, all of the testimonies, everything to do with that January the 6th case that committee was handling in Congress? Everything is destroyed. Everything. So Fani Willis and the January 6th committee, because they say allegedly she colluded with them. They were all sharing information, working together in a coordinated effort to take down Trump. They had some Letitia James mixed up in it, some Jack Smith mixed up in it. You got Fani Willis, then you got Alvin Bragg. Mix that in with the January 6th committee, you got a big gumbo pot of effery, and you know what that F stands for, going on to try to take down one of the best, if not the best president ever in the history of the United States of America. But now all of these clowns, all of them are getting their just doing. And guess what? The left-wing media and the lamestream media, the left-wing politicians, they want to say, President Trump is weaponizing, He's weaponizing it. No, he's not. He knew they were lying on him. He knew they were making up stuff on him. When you're innocent and you're being prosecuted for crimes that you know you didn't do, it don't take a rocket science to figure out they're doing something dirty. They broke the law. So what he's doing is taking his knowledge that he's got from experiencing the lawfare And he's going after them because he knows they broke the law. It's not like Letitia James, who ran her campaign on, oh, I'm going to go get Trump, without any crimes that she was aware of. She wasn't even in an office or a position to be able to know any of that. She knew nothing. But President Trump, who actually received the lawfare, who knew he didn't do what they said he did, his co-defendants, who he knows well, that know they didn't do what they were saying they did. That is the crime in itself. It's like somebody breaking in your house. You got them on video. You see them on camera, face clear as day, breaking in your house. And then you go to your house to get your stuff back. And somebody says, oh, that's just revenge. They just want to take stuff out of their house because they took it out of their house. Yeah, because it's mine. So if you took what's mine and you have it, I want it back to reclaim it. That's what President Trump's credibility, what happened to his credibility. He took a hit. They did not ever imagine that mugshot that they took in Fulton County, remember now, that was Fani Willis's district, that actually arrested the president. Didn't put him in cuffs and perp walk him, but did the mugshot. President Trump flipped it, turned it into a t-shirt. It's actually hanging up in the Oval Office as we speak. So be on the lookout for Fani Willis getting the smackdown from Congress. They're getting those records. She stonewalled, she blocked it. Because if she didn't do nothing, why not just give the records over? Why not? Because she knows she lied. And we got her on video under oath lying. You heard her say, no, she never was at the White House. But then we clear as day saw the White House log showing she made the appointment on February the 24th, was in the White House on February 28th. Shut. But the fact that she stonewalled, that's what's prolonged her being prosecuted or indicted. But I assure you, it's coming down the pike. So if you've hung out with me, I just wanted to bring this to you and let you know that the Trump administration is knocking them out figuratively in the system, in the court of law. And remember what the Democrat slogan was, what they love to say, no one is above the law. You dang straight. And ladies, let me know if Fani Willis is your spokeswoman for sleeping with a married man, for lying under oath, for committing crimes allegedly to take down a political opponent. Is she your spokeswoman? Fellas, would you ever have risked your career for a woman like that? That shows this man, Nathan Wade, had no discernment, but good riddance to bad rubbish. Appreciate you for staying and watching this. I want to thank you from the top and bottom of my heart. If you haven't already, hit that like button. If you aren't subscribed, subscribe. Most importantly, I want you to stay safe and you be great. I'm Brian Maxwell saying I look forward to seeing you at the top. Over and out, y'all.